Hi, this is Barry Anderson from the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room. It is Thursday, April the 9th. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. All right. Well, first one I want to talk about is I guess it's a disappointment for me because I didn't really follow my plan. And I'd said in the pre-market, Walgreens Boots Alliance, they'd had earnings, and the earnings look pretty good. The stock is up $3.74 right now, and for a stock of this nature, that's a pretty impressive pump up. And I had said that this is because it's an earnings play, and I thought that it could have a decent follow through for the day, and I really wanted to watch it. So unfortunately, here's where it opened. And when I say unfortunately, this is the first volume can or volume bar. So here's where it opened. It had a nice spurt up, but you see, these tails are pretty difficult. I mean, if you get in here, you have to have a pretty wide stop to maintain. All this chopping action really kind of discouraged me from even looking at it anymore. And to tell you the truth, I just kind of lost sight of it. But look at this. This is a very, very nice base right at $90. And really, I should have taken this trade about right here at 90.19 when it broke, or even right there 90.22 when it broke above here, and then I should have ridden it up here. It would have almost been a dollar. And if I'd kept up a little bit more, it certainly wouldn't have been a dollar. And just basically, I lost sight of it. And there was really no excuse. I mean, I did have it thumbnailed and all, but I was, just concentrating on other things. And I think because of all this action here, I just got a little discouraged with it. What I do find is that if you can pick the right earnings play, some of them just want to go on all day long. They might have a few little blips, but generally the trend is just all is up for the whole day. Assuming earnings are good. Now we're coming into earnings season. I mean, Alcoa announced, yesterday, and so we're going to have many more earnings plays to look at over the next couple of months anyway. So, but I just wanted to point this one out that this was just something that I'd said I wanted to do, and I just forgot. I just sort of lost sight of it. So it's definitely my bad. Now let's take a look at a couple of some of the ones that I did do, and CA was one that worked out okay in the end. CA came from the bounce alerts. Not very many of them today, and this one really worked out well eventually. And again, it's one of the ones that I lost sight of, but I know some are in it, and more power to them because that had a very nice bounce. I'm talking about MSM, but CA. The alert came at 31.12. That was the price, and so it would have been right about here. You see all these down red candles. That's why I'm getting the alert. Again, if you're new to this does not mean just because I get the alert at 31.12, it doesn't mean I buy it there. It just means that I've been alerted to the fact that this is now something that has a potential to bounce. It meets all my filter requirements. And I even said in the room, though, as it kept going down, that's even better because then, the bounce potential is a lot more obviously if a stock keeps going down. I mean, if a stock went down this amount and it bounced back up here, I mean, it might be good, but obviously if a stock drops so much and that it can bounce, this amount, obviously it's better. I mean, it's obvious, but that's why I often say in the room, great, it's still going down. And some might say, well, hey, you had an alert way up here, but that's okay. All that means is I'm going to start watching it. So this one came all the way down to 30.65. Finally had a pop up. Actually, look at this one. It looked like this was what I would call a fake out. I mean, here it looked like there's a double bottom right there, popped up, and then it came right back down. So it really faked you out, and then it dropped again. So this was tough right here. This sort of action is not great, to inspire confidence in any sort of a bounce. But on this bar right there, and it got over $31. I decided to take the trade, and the trade at 31.09 right there. Okay, right on that blue arrow right there. But Got as high as 31.18, and then started falling back, and I just said, no, I'm out. And so I took a 5 cent loss, 31.04, and you see that it came back down through 30. Not much though, and that was the good thing. It didn't drop by much. It didn't have a severe red candle down. It just was sort of holding this area for a while. And I said in the room that if it could get above 31.17, that I would probably take the trade. This is basically the high of this candle right there. And that's what I did. I ended up taking the trade at 31.22. It did nothing for quite a while. I mean, this is just sitting there at 31.27. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost half an hour. And for me, that's an eternity when you're trying to day trade something like this. But as I've said before, if I'm up in a trade, even if it's just pennies, and especially if it's basing like this, it's not fluctuating very much. I have no reason to get out of it. So even though it was boring, I just held it. I just kept with it. Now, I have to admit, this little action here, you see, we had a spike up, looked like it was going to go, and then the next candle, well, then it sold off. And then the next candle looked like it was going to come down, and I was almost tempted to get rid of it, but luckily I didn't, because then it just started to take off. Finally, got some volume. You see, we had some volume right there. Up to this point, the volume was pretty stagnant, and then all of a sudden we got a nice volume kick right there. Even though it came right back down, basically, it at least signified that there could be some movement. So I ended up selling some right here, right on this. Actually, I think it was on this candle, but at any rate, it was at 31.51, and I held on. It pulled back a little bit, and then I sold at 31.55 on this little pullback. And now it's really not doing too much. So all in all, it was a good trade. Glad I stuck with it, unlike the WBA trade that I didn't, keep after. I really should have kept after that one, but it did work out. Now, for my trade of the day, the one I do for Tumblr, Voltari Corporation VLTC. In case you don't know this one, let me just bring up the daily chart again. And I actually had featured this one 3 days ago on my Tumblr video. And right here on April 1st is when it was disclosed that Carl Icahn had I don't know how many shares he bought, but now he had a controlling position in this company over 50%. Had the huge day here, a little bit of a pullback but on very low volume. And then the next day, I traded it right here, and we have a couple of days of pulling back, but not severely. Lower volume again. The volume got lower, which is always a great sign. And then today, boom, the volume's back up again. So how did I get into this? Well, it wasn't easy. Um, Here is the opening volume bar, okay, right there. And, it didn't really do too much right off the start. Had a pop, a bit of a pullback, and then it started to accelerate. And I could not really find any entry here. A little bit of a pullback, and I suppose a case could be made that I should have taken the trade, just a little over $5. But I waited just a little bit. I saw this come down, and then I decided to take the trade here at 526. Excuse me. It is actually it was 525, but that's okay. It is a bit of a chase for sure, but for me, it had that look to it that it was just going to continue. And once it broke five, I thought it had a good shot at, challenging six. So I ended up selling some right here at 540. And I was at this point, I was really looking for a six break. It got up to 595 on these two candles. I took some off right here at actually it's 581. This is right there, or 588. Sorry, 588 right there. Because I had already taken some profit, I was able to hold on through this because, again, I just had this feeling that maybe it would have a resurgence later on in the day. And so I was able to hold on through this, and it certainly did. And unfortunately, I kind of blew it. I missed selling when it popped over six, and I ended up selling right here at 585, 581, I guess. Actually, I was out walking my dog at this point, and I had to stop in at 581, and so that's why I got stopped out there. And it came back down, but now it is just say the market's got another hour or so. just sitting just below $6. I will continue to watch this stock to see if there's going to be, the momentum. Can it sustain itself for another few days? And let's see, what else did I do? Okay, CCI, nothing. Nothing real. Oh, yeah, the only reason I want to bring this one up, actually, I should bring this one up more to me. I didn't take this one because it was right around the time I was going to be walking my dog. I didn't want to get into a trade there, but I talked about this one right here. You see this big volume spike right there, right at noon. And I said to people, well, you know what? This volume spike right here didn't really move the stock. 24.30, 24.41, so a pretty tight range with no movement. And I said, listen, if it pops up, you probably should take the trade. And that's exactly what happened. 24.41 would have been a great entry. Got as high as 24.73. We're talking 1, 2, 3, maybe an 18, 20-minute trade. Wouldn't have been a bad thing at all to do. And I'm trying to find more of these types of trades where you get these big volume surges with not too much movement. Put it on a chart and watch it, and then see if there's some follow through later on. Now, CCI was going to be that one also. Look at the volume right there. It just didn't work for me. It's that simple. Now I see it has come back, but I got into the trade right here at 85.08, and it got up as high as 85.15, and then when it pulled back down to 85.02, I exited the trade. Now, though I do see that it has popped up again, would have been nice to have held on to some, but it just didn't look like it was going to have it was going to be dynamic enough. So I just didn't take the trade, or that's why I exited the trade and didn't hold on. I mean, there's a part of me that says I should have just waited for a break of the whole number, but it's sometimes it's a gut instinct why I do things, and in this particular case, the gut didn't help me at all because this looks like it's going to continue a little bit. Um, oh, low was another one that I did, and same sort of thing. Here's the volume pop that because I got into the trade. I don't have it marked up here, and this is another one that I definitely got out of way too soon. 69.13. Yeah, so right here, you see this volume pop? I was alerted to it, and it really didn't do very much. But right here, I took the trade at 69.13. So I don't have it marked, 69.13. It got up here to 69.26, and then it started pulling back. I said, I was just kind of getting bored with it, even though I was up on it. But this is one, LO and RAI are in talks to, I guess, merge, or I don't know who's buying who, but I know that it's before the Trade Commission and all, whether or not it can go through. And I'd forgotten about that when I got into the trade, to be honest with you. And so that kind of scared me a little bit because, it is so news related. Something could have popped on the news saying, oh, the deal is off, or there's a snag, or something. And then this thing could have just plummeted. So that's really why I got out of the trade. But, overall, it would have been a great trade. Had this been any other stock, I definitely would have kept it because I was still up on the trade. And I might have taken a little bit off here, but boy, it would have been a really nice trade to have taken. And that is it. Yes. The one I missed, MSM, same sort of thing. We had this one. This was a bounce play, 68.65, and 68.65 is right about here. See how it bounced up, but then it came right back down. And it's an unwritten rule, I guess I have, that when a stock has a failed bounce, I kind of forget about it. And you can see it had another attempt here, and then nothing. But now it's had a very steady rise, and I know that there are some people in it, and that's great. I'm happy to alert people to this, and I know I've shared this strategy with people, so I don't even have to alert people. I think they see that what is happening, and that's fine. I wish perhaps a case could be made for taking it right over here, 68.60 on the way up. But anyway, there are a lot of stocks out there. There'll still be stocks tomorrow. There'll be stocks the next day. So that's why it breaks me up a little bit during the day when I'm watching this sort of action, I'm not in, but I know there'll be something tomorrow, so it's not like I've missed the last stock in the world that's going to do this. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me just bring back the cover page. And again, here's how to get into the room. And you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the trading room tomorrow.